This is such a unique take on some of these, singing competition shows.
Yeah.
My Kind of Country. Share a little bit about what this is and how you got involved with it.
So this show is produced by Reese Witherspoon and Casey Musgraves, and it's a singing competition workshop show where the scouts are Jimmy Allen, myself, and Orville Peck, and we've gone all over the globe trying to find the next big superstar. And we've found these artists through words of mouth, and then they have come to Nashville and become part of the different scouts. And we put them through workshops, and they go all whoever gets to the end wins. And they win a huge prize with Apple and a whole platform. And it's just really, really fulfilling to be a part of.
Share a little bit about how it's different than some of these other shows that we know and love.
This show is more boutique.
Mhm.
And it's shot more in like a documentary style versus the lights and the flash, and it's beautiful. But this is more, it's personal. You're getting a window into these artists' minds and watching them develop as an artist. And they get to go through different workshops. There's a collaboration workshop. There is the workshop that I do with Jamel McWilliams, my creative director, who's worked with Lizzo and Beyonce and John Legend. And then you have Orville, who is the visual artist, who his whole look is visual. So he's helping the artists in that. And these artists are so special. And they're also from all over the world.
Yeah.
That's also what's different. It's not just only based here, it's based globally.
Hmm. Well, you do really get to know these singers and you start to really love them. What was it like emotionally creating the show? Because I'm sure it was quite the journey.
When I signed up for this, I was like, yes, because I had been trying to show just on my social media platform, the different versions of country music. I would post things that say country music also looks like this.
Mhm.
And when I got asked to be a part of it, I was like, that's a no-brainer. But then we had to start sending people home, and that was really difficult for me. And I told them, like, it was contingent. In order for me to be a part of this show, I need to make sure that this show doesn't treat these artists like they're disposable
Mhm.
and that they're just part of a cast. Like, we have to really care. These are people's dreams, and we need to be tender and honor them, because it's a lot. And I've been on the other end. I've done like American Idol, and I remember how awful it felt to get to be told no. And then when it was my turn to tell people no, I literally lost sleep over it. It was so hard for me. I just wanted everybody to win. Like, we can all get a trophy.
Well, you have such an amazing story yourself. I mean, share how you sort of got into country music and why you were drawn to this particular genre, because we don't see a lot of people of color in this field.
So my mom is from Riesel, Texas. Like, I grew up in like Waco, Texas. And my grandma loved Dolly Parton. And whenever I would go to my grandma's house way out in the country, I would go in her house, and she would have, VHS tapes hanging on the back of her door. And all of her VHS tapes were either like Fried Green Tomatoes, like Southern movies, like Still Magnolias, Hope Floats. So I'd watch those. And when I wasn't watching those, then there was the Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers VHS tapes. And that's what I would put on to watch. So I learned to love her. And then Leanne Rhymes came out, and I saw this young girl singing country music. And I was like, oh my God, I can do that. And that's really what got me into it. It wasn't even that it was country. I just heard a voice that I loved. I didn't see that it was country.
Yeah. And you're so outspoken about your faith. How has that really guided your career as you've just sort of, I mean, exploded on the scene and gotten so many accolades and all this popularity?
Listen, I grew up in Bible Belt, Texas, and I was in the youth choir. I went to Sunday service, Wednesday night prayer group, vacation Bible school, listen to Salty singing songbook and the Adventures of Odyssey. I am that girl. Girl.
Yes.
I will listen to all those. We had those tapes. So that was a huge part of my life, and it always has been. And being in the industry that is so fickle, that is so hard. And especially the angle I took, I really took an angle of like standing up for people, no matter
Mhm.
who it was. Like if anybody that felt marginalized, I was standing up for them. And with that comes a huge responsibility, and it's hard. And so it was like my faith in God that helped me. Like a lot of the things that my approach, I really believe he was speaking through me, because there's sometimes I would hear interviews. I'm like, I don't recall saying that. Um, so it was definitely an out of body experience sometimes.
How do you stay grounded when, I mean, because I'm sure you get some backlash for some of that, and you are so outspoken, you're so bold, you're so kind. How do you
Yeah.
handle that?
I have a really beautiful home life with my husband and my son.
Yeah.
They are the constant in my life. And ever since I had my son, like I had my son, I got pregnant right as my career was taking off. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know how to be a mom and have this career. Like, I don't know how to do this. And it scared me. And like this baby brought so many blessings to my life. Like, I couldn't stop the opportunities from coming into my life. And I think it was because of my son. And I think, and God gave me him. Like, he's such a precious kid. And seeing him smile every day. I mean, you have 3 kids, like, the world can be crazy around you, but the endorphins you get from just seeing your baby smile is just, there's nothing like it. It's the closest thing to God's love, in my personal opinion, is our love for our kids, and that grounds me for sure.
Now, Mickey, what else are you up to in your personal career?
Well, I'm dabbling into acting, and I'm also releasing a new song this summer that I'm really excited to be releasing to country radio, that I'm excited about. So that's what I've got so far.
Awesome.
I'm going on tour with Shania Twain for a few dates.
Amazing. Now, Mickey, when people watch My Kind of Country, what do you want them to leave feeling, talking about?
I I feel like the show is such a positive, it's all love on that show,
Mhm.
and I want people to feel that. So often, in other reality shows, people make fun of them, and it's not always nice. And this show, we really cared and were intentional on how we interacted with the artists. And so I hope people feel happy. I hope people feel enlightened, because they get to see all these. If you're a music fan, you're going to get to see really incredible artists with incredible stories, like beautiful stories. And there's triumph, there's silly moments. You're just going to feel, it's just a good feel good show.
Yes. And talk about the future of country music. Are you excited with where it's going? Because
I
I just
am.
feel like it's opening up so much more. It's such a beautiful genre. What do you see in the future of country music?
I do. I think people are starting to give the listeners more credit. And I think the genre is such a beautiful genre, and people want to see different versions of country music. There's so many artists. There's a Latin duo named Kat and Alex that are signed to a major record label that have stunning voices. Um, there's another group called Warren Treaty. If you guys don't know about them, they're a duo. They're a black duo, and the wife, I don't know if you saw Sister Act 2, but it was the wife in the duo is the girl who sang His Eyes on the Sparrow in Sister Act. She is in this group. I know.
That's
And
beautiful.
nobody knows this. I know. And there's a lot of love happening, and people are getting to see how beautiful the actual community is. And I think the future looks bright. I want it to happen faster, but you got to meet people where they're at, and I'm grateful for the wins.